NBA players see Memphis as unsafe and avoid joining the Grizzlies. Ja Morant and city leaders pushed back, citing lower crime rates. The Greater Memphis Chamber invited Smith to visit and see the city for himself. And Black Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is pushing the D.C. Council to act on a bill that would change the city's juvenile curfew. In a letter to Council Chair Phil Mendelson, she urged a swift vote on the emergency amendment, which would shift the curfew to 11 p.m. during June, July, and August, expand it to include 17-year-olds, and allow certain areas to set earlier curfews. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Shout out to my super producer, the Nyron Sanders. And my co-host, Will Sutton. Hey, Will.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Juneteenth.
There's the bell.
Hey, we got stuff on.
Free-ish since 1865.
Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. And if you don't know why we excited, Juneteenth is known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, and it is a holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. It specifically celebrates the day June 19th, 1865, when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, finally learned they were free over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. The holiday is a time to reflect on the history of slavery and the ongoing fight for liberation and justice. So happy Juneteenth, everybody. I don't know what y'all are doing today, but do something that uplifts community and the fight for liberty and justice. Even if you got to just put your fists in the air. Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah. So, I'm going to mix it up a little bit.
Go ahead, mix it up.
Mix it up a little bit.
Go ahead.
Now, for years, I called Juneteenth a fake holiday.
Why?
Fake celebration.
Okay.
Because it's not real.
It's not real?
It's not real.
Okay.
It's real for the people in Galveston.
Okay.
Okay.
All
right. So my comparison is, if you're Christian, not everybody is, but if you're Christian, when is Jesus' birthday? We say December 25th. We don't know that. We don't.
Okay.
We know somewhere in that time that he was born. Okay. Well, Juneteenth, that is absolutely the day in 1865 when the folks in Galveston got the word. And there were a number of different stories about why they got the word too late, like the messenger was murdered on the way, and there were plantation folks who were keeping people away. So there are different stories about why so late. But the Emancipation Proclamation took place January 1, 1863. So, and it didn't cover everywhere. It didn't cover even everybody. So even in Louisiana, it was this parish, not that parish, this parish, not that parish. And then the 13th Amendment is what really officially freed the slave. And that was in December.
Yes.
So I've evolved because I realized I'm celebrating Jesus' birth, and I don't know that he was born on December 25th. So I'm with Juneteenth, but I just want folks to know a little bit more about that history and that tie-in, just as we should know a little bit more about Jesus Christ and his birth and the meaning, if you're Christian.
So what I'm hearing you say is we just should be celebrating Juneteenth all year round. Let's be free.
No, but we have to have a day. We have to have a day, and today is that day.
Yeah, or you could just start celebrating it for all of the teenths. You start on June 13th and go all the way to the 19th.
Yeah, different people find out. There's a huge oak tree at the campus where I went to school, Hampton University. It is now Hampton Institute. That's the Emancipation Oak. That's where it was announced.
Well, shout out to former President Joe Biden because the Juneteenth
Hey, hey.
holiday was officially recognized as a federal holiday on June 17, 2021, when President Biden signed the bill into law. And Juneteenth is a day of remembrance, reflection, and celebration with various activities like parades, festivals, and educational events. And so I'm certain that, as you know, each and every Thursday is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays here at WBOK. So I'm certain our congressman will want to talk about the significance of Juneteenth, as will our guest at the 8:20 mark, Montreal Carmouche from Operation Restoration. She's a senior advisor of quality care. She'll be here talking to us about the Juneteenth Community Resource Fair. So we'll have all things Juneteenth. And if you want to call in and talk to us as well, the number is 504-582-9422. But Will has come around, so we're going to collectively say Happy Juneteenth today, June 19th,
I even went to
2025.
a Juneteenth event last night.
Oh, well, I go to
Yeah.
Juneteenth events
I
every single
I go to Juneteenth
year.
events, multiple
Yeah,
events.
every single
But
year.
last night was different because this was a Juneteenth Seder.
Okay. Okay.
So it brought together some black folks and
Mhm.
some white folks, a couple other folks, but mostly black folks and white folks. And so the Seder people, the folks who observe Seder have a series of things that they do. So this was different because it very intentionally incorporated Juneteenth and the history of black folks and the journey from enslavement, well, actually from the continent of Africa to enslavement to fighting for liberation today, including incarceration as a part of vestiges of slavery. So that was at Xavier University last night. I was very happy to be invited. It was a wonderful communal experience. There was some table discussions, and the Jewish Federation, ADL, NAACP were just some of the co-hosts there, Oshner, and it was a wonderful small group, but it was so meaningful because we actually got a chance to talk to each other
Yeah.
as we observe kind of the separate histories and the shared histories.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed that.
Well, if you want to go to a site where you can see a thorough explanation of Juneteenth and the importance it has, you can go to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. There's a wonderful landing page there that talks about the first Juneteenth of freedom deferred, Taste of Resilience, Song of Freedom, Juneteenth Today, a digital toolkit, a reading list, a commemorative collection, and Community Day. And there are some links where you can hear some wonderful expertise as it relates to Juneteenth. So it's a really, really dope page. I'm actually on it right now looking at it, and I'll look at it in further depth. But I
You
just
know,
wanted
I
to
mean,
say
that-
Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah, and we've talked about the museum before,
Hmm.
and you've been several times.
Yes.
I've been a couple of times,
Hmm.
and you're calling up this site. One of the things to point out for folks is if you haven't been and you have the opportunity, you really should go. But if you have a connection to the internet and you can call up their site, there is so much good information right there. This is a wonderful example of Juneteenth without visiting the museum, chock full of great information, great history, and context.
Yeah, definitely. There's even a letter on the site that I think you should read. It's about the office of the sub assistant. Like it's a really dope letter, and it's dated 1867, but they've transcribed it so you can read it in plain typed. But it's
Mhm.
the actual letter is there, a picture of it, and then they have it written out so you can read it. And I think it's just a really, really dope landing site. So again, that is the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And it's there's a Juneteenth landing page that you should check out. But happy Juneteenth, everybody. And as I promised on yesterday, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and there's lots of stuff going on today and this weekend. Just for starters, over in Congo Square, folks are going to be hanging out at the annual Juneteenth event over there. That's going to be, I think it's at noon, but it's day long. Uh, Music, food, vendors, uh, history and culture. That's going to be great. Shade always organizes that, and there's a film festival that's in the area, and actually in elsewhere too. And Shade, if you're listening, maybe you can call in a bit and tell us more about that. But for the they're all I always meet people in and around Juneteenth that have never experienced any Juneteenth,
Yeah.
and so that's okay. So if it's your first time thinking about Juneteenth, other than mouthing the words, experience some activity event. There are different types of things you can get involved in, and some of it is like panel discussions and community conversations, and some of it is music, history, storytelling. It's a great opportunity to connect, reconnect, and deepen your connections to us folks.
Absolutely. So again, from WBOK to wherever you're listening from, happy Juneteenth. And as I promised on yesterday, we're going to continue to talk about these upcoming elections that are happening. We're going to talk about it now to forevermore when it happens. So we have elections coming up in October 11th, I believe is election day itself. Yes, October 11th.
Yes.
Early voting is September 27th to October 4th. And it is more than the mayoral seat on the ballot.
Absolutely.
A good friend of mine reminded me to talk about this, and he said, and I quote, "Doc, there's more happening than just the sheriff's race and the mayoral race." And I said, you know what, you're right. So I'm going to talk about it every day. So we have a mayoral race that is on the ballot. The sheriff seat is on the ballot. The civil and criminal clerk of courts is on the ballot. The coroner and the assessor, they too are on the ballot. So please make certain that you go to the Secretary of State's website to check your voter status. Sometimes, without you knowing, you could have been purged from the voting roll. So please check your status, check your voting status, just like we need you to check your actual status, because let me tell you something. HIV and STDs are going rampant around our city. I don't know what is happening, but there's all of a sudden a boom that has taken place. I need you to know your status. So go to the doctor and check out your information. Go to the Secretary of State's website to check out your voter registration to make certain that you have not been purged from the records. Early voting starts September 22nd. Early voting ends October 4th. Election day is October 11th. You get the opportunity to vote for a mayor, city council, assessor, the coroner, civil and criminal clerk of courts. All of those things are on the ballot. And if I missed anything, please do not hesitate to call us 504-582-9422 and let us know if we missed any seat that is currently up for election this October. And again, I promised to give you the names of the individuals who are running for office, but we have to wait until qualifying, which happens the 9th through the 11th of July. So at the end of qualifying, I promise you, we will give you every person who has deemed themselves a candidate for office after that date. And please keep in mind that that field isn't even set, because more often than not, we have challenges to people's residency, challenges to their voter status, if they're even, it's all kinds of things, residency and taxes, I should say, not
Right, right.
not where they
Not
live.
complying with the election law.
Yeah, so it's a number of reasons you can challenge somebody's candidacy. So that often happens as well. But after qualifying, I'm going to give you the names of the folk who have put themselves up for elected office. And so I'll share that with you as soon as I have that information, which will only be after official qualifying, which is July 9th through July 11th. But right now, the most important thing that I need you to do is go to check your voter status to make certain that you have not been purged from the rolls. So please do that, because if you've been purged, there's ways to get you back on the roll, but you need to check it out and check it out now. Because the deadline to register online to vote in October's election is September 20th. National holiday is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And then the deadline to register to vote in person or by mail is September 10th. So please make certain that you check your voter status so that we can make certain that all of us are registered so that we can all exercise our democratic responsibility and go out and vote. But I think talking about voting, merging it with Juneteenth, is so appropriate, right?
It really is.
Absolutely appropriate, because could you imagine that the president on June 19, 1865, nearly 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln, could you imagine the president signing up Emancipation Proclamation, and you don't know about it till 2 years later? So you still working in the fields, slaving away, no pun intended. And then somebody come and say, you know, you're free, huh?
Right. Right.
What?
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me, right?
And I'm still acting like I don't want to act.
I think that's akin to what I noticed in court one day when I was in there, because I've started to kind of go in there and just see what's happening. You know, a few minutes of my time, and that's akin to what I saw. There was a young man who went before the judge. The judge looks at the documents and he's puzzled because he's like, wait, the case has been settled, and it was settled 2 months ago. Why is he standing in front of me? So the young man was still locked up 2 months after
it was settled. And
the judge said, and I'm just paraphrasing here, he said, I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm letting him go. And he told him, he was like, sir, you're free to go, you know, something, whatever. 2 months. So could you imagine you sitting in somebody's jail cell and everything has been worked out and you're still sitting there? That happened. I saw that with my own eyes, and I heard it with my own ears. So there is something that is going on system-wise that, like, one entity is not necessarily communicating effectively with the next one. And so we need to just make certain that if folk are being held accountable for things, that's one thing. But we don't want to have folk sitting in places because it costs a lot of money to house people. I mean, in fact, it takes more money to incarcerate a person than it does to educate them in our great state. So we don't need that to be going on. But I mean, kudos to the judge over there, because he just looked at them and was like, I don't know what y'all got going on over there, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm letting them go. And so that's what I saw happening. So it's akin to that. It's like, okay, you know, I've paid my debt, so to speak, to society. Whatever I was supposed to be held accountable for, I've done that, and I'm still waiting 2 months later to just open up the cell. So something in our system from one entity to the other has to do a better job of communicating what is actually going on. And again, I do know that the Public Defender's Office, they're inundated and overwhelmed with cases. But the chief of police was here, and
Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, and she was saying that office has put itself up to represent the two young men that are still on the run from the jailbreak, and I believe that this is a part of a way to get them to peacefully surrender themselves, so that they know that there's somebody that's going to look out for their legal interests. I mean, that's the first time I've heard that come from the mouth of law enforcement before. But yeah, I think it's important that we ensure when folk are being accused of something, that they have due process in the something that they're accused of. And
it can be obvious.
Yeah.
You can have video.
You still have to have due process.
Because even with video, I have to say,
it can be manipulated.
It can be manipulated. Yeah. It can be
different angles.
We've shown these 12 seconds, but not the 5 seconds before the 5. There are all kinds of other things we may not know.
Yes. And look, we're going to go to break, y'all. But as I told you, each and every Thursday is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays here at WBOK. So on the other side of the break, hopefully we'll have our congressman on the line when we get back. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Operation Hope founder and CEO John Hope Bryant has dedicated his career to empowering people from underserved communities. And he's worried about how the Trump administration's trade policies could impact those very communities.
When you say tariffs to my population, they're thinking about bread prices, egg prices, kitchen top economics, gas prices, how's it going to affect the restaurant, how's it going to affect the car they're buying or the TV that they're buying, because a lot of this stuff has parts from all around the world, and they're smart enough at least to understand that if there's a tax on that the importer is going to have to potentially raise those prices.
Hope says the U.S. economy is powered by consumers, and his goal through Operation Hope is to make sure all Americans have the financial tools they need to thrive and power the economy. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Norman Robinson is back.
Can you hear me now?
And he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
And we are back. Happy Thursday. Happy Juneteenth. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ashanta White. Shout out to my co-host, Lee Will Sutton. Hey, Will.
Good morning.
And as you know, each and every Thursday is Congressman Troy Carter Thursdays here at WBOK. And we have our congressman on the line. Good morning, Congressman. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wyatt. Good morning, Brother Sutton.
Good
Always
morning.
good to be with you guys.
How you doing this morning?
I am doing fantastic.
You sound fantastic.
You know, we got a battle at hand, but thank God we're alive to fight it.
Yeah. And we take comfort in knowing that you're up there. So listen, I know you're doing everything that you can do. But happy Juneteenth. How are you celebrating Juneteenth today?
You know, we've got a series of things going on. We've got throughout the district, we've got a number of Juneteenth celebrations. So I'm going to be a busy beaver popping around and saying hello to a few of those. And you know, this is a very proud moment. Opal Lee, who was the godmother of Juneteenth, who really led the effort and pushed hard to get us to the point where in 2021, President Biden signed into law Juneteenth as a national holiday. And then it's a time to obviously remember the history of what caused us to celebrate this. And we know the fact that the South, we didn't find out about the freeing of slaves and yada, yada, yada. But that's all good history. Now we have to talk about what we do on Juneteenth and not just have it a day that we get to sleep late, stay home, but use it as a day that we do something productive, particularly in this environment where we have an attempt to roll back our rights, and some would even dare say to create a modern day slavery all over again. So celebrate Juneteenth, have a good time, cook out in the backyard, love your family, but let's also love each other and recognize the importance of being ever vigilant and mindful that there's an effort to change things in the worst way, and we as a people have to band together to block that.
Absolutely. And I mean, there are a number of things that are going on here in the city of New Orleans as well to commemorate Juneteenth. And I just wanted to know because I know you're doing something, and we want to know what you were going to do to make certain that we celebrate Juneteenth here. Will, you want to?
Yeah, I know there'll be a bunch of people out at Congo Square today for the annual Juneteenth celebration. I know that there's a film festival, which is basically an indoor and virtual event. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more information about that at 8. You mentioned Opal and the grandmother of Juneteenth. Unfortunately, she's not going to lead her annual parade this year. This is like the first time in forever because of she's okay, but her doctors have health concerns because of the heat. So, but you're right, Congressman, to point to her battles, her efforts, and it goes to that third C that you always talk about. There'd be no reason that somebody might think that this old black woman might identify an issue that's worth our attention and worth the attention of Congress and presidents and fight for it. And she did, and look what happened.
And I had the honor of standing next to her and President Biden as he signed that law. It was an incredible, one of the highlights of my entire service to community, to meet this incredible woman and to watch this law signed into effect, and to be there and to take photographs with her. And I'll share them with you because they're very special moments. It is demonstrative of one person can make a difference. And she never gave up the battle. She never gave up the fight. Much like so many of our leaders here that we have in New Orleans, Avery Alexander, who never gave up the fight, Dutch Morial, who never gave up the fight, Dorothy May Taylor, who never gave up the fight, Barbara Major, who I herald all the time by saying, had she not sued the federal courts and fought there might not be a second congressional district for which I am blessed to serve in Congress from. And we can go on and on and on. Jerome Smith and so many other incredible leaders and freedom fighters that dared to say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And on this Juneteenth, we should remember not just those that are far away, but remember those leaders that are right here in our midst, some that have gone to glory, and a handful that are still with us, who are the kind of leaders that demonstrated that, yeah, one person can make a difference.
Absolutely. You have a caller online, too. Good morning, Aaron. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning. How y'all doing this morning?
We're good. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm good.
Good morning.
Good morning, Congressman. First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable. Second, to the People's Political Party, as well as the Hill People
Aaron,
Club.
I can't hear you, brother. Are you away from your phone? Like, come closer or something? We barely can hear you on our end.
You can hear me now?
It's a little bit better.
Little.
Go ahead.
That's better?
Better.
All right. Again, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable, the People's Political Party, as well as the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Listen, Brother Congressman, we have to do a better job when it comes to our community. You know, we have a lot of things that our community is in dire need. We're the only community that constantly deals with gerrymandering, gentrification, miseducation. I can go on and on and on about the essential needs and problems that we have within our community. We understand that voting is very important, right? But at the same time, too, we have to have real and honest conversations about why the orange man is actually in office right now, which happens to deal with black gatekeepers, right? Because when you look at our community, especially all these things that constantly comes to our city, and our community does not benefit from it at all. We constantly keep on hearing about the trickle-down effect, but it's ironic that things never trickle down to our communities and to our businesses. So what I'm asking you to do, my brother, is that we got to galvanize these real leaders on your end, as well as these real leaders within our community that actually has a seat and the foothold in the community to make our communities better. Because we can't keep on just constantly waiting until things happen to put the real issues on the table. So what I'm asking to you, my brother, as a brother, not the congressman, but as a brother, let's sit down with real people on your end as congressmen, right? And real people in this community to turn this community around to make it to be what it was already set out to be. Because, again, a lot of times when we have these conversations on WBOK, once the conversation is over, so is the fight. And we got to stop that. So I'm going to just stop right there, and I'm going to be looking to hear from you soon, brother.
Thank you, Aaron. Congressman.
Brother Aaron, I appreciate everything you had to say, man. And let me just let you know, the battle ain't ever stopped. We fight every single day. Everything that you ask us to do, God knows in heaven we're doing it every day, and we'll do it even more. We'll step up to the plate, brother. It is an all hands on deck effort to educate our people, to mobilize our people, to activate and encourage our people to stay vigilant, to be awoke, to awaken to the reality that there are those who don't want the trickle to get to our community. But I will tell you, I'm very proud of the fact that we have brought billions of dollars back to Louisiana, and specifically to New Orleans, to benefit hungry children during the summertime, to provide resources for infrastructure and swimming pools in communities never had them before, to make sure that we have funding for health and hospitals and communities of color who need economic parity. Are we there? No. Do we have a lot of work to do? Yes. Do we still have a lot of work to do? Absolutely. But I am 100% committed to accept that challenge, to continue, not to start, but to continue doing the work of unifying our people and waking up the reality that there is an onslaught effort to work against our freedoms, to work against the things that you mentioned that I could not agree with you more on. We are a strong and resilient people, and we will overcome, but we will only do it through us working together. And as Brother Will mentioned a second ago, I oftentimes refer to my 3 C's. I'm going to continue doing my job in Congress, pushing hard. I'm going to continue to push the courts to do its job, and I'm going to continue to work with you, WBOK, and all of our brothers and sisters out there in the community, that we will combine those 3 C's to make America honor its commitment of having a more perfect union. Brother to brother, I hear you, I love you, I'm all in.
And we appreciate that. That's one thing about the WBOK listening audience. They when they have access to you, Congressman, they want to get information directly from the source, because our phone lines are lit up. Good morning, Miss Alicia. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning, Congressman. I have a question. It just hit me this morning because I was reading something about Hegseth, who's removing all of the black names off of these forts and other governmental entities, removing these heroes to put back up those Confederate traitors. What can be done about that, and what is there any hearings or meetings where the Republicans are sitting there allowing this man to do this? I mean, because there's racism blatantly in our faces. I don't know how much longer that's going to be tolerated by the whole country. And also, please do not allow those terrorists, and that includes the felon in chief, to send our boys, girls, men, and women into war for Israel. I'm sick of this. Nobody's talking about this, but we should not have our children or our husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends go into battle for this entity. And they don't want to talk about Israel, but Israel is led by a terrorist himself. So that's what I have.
Thank you, Miss Alicia. I appreciate you. Congressman?
The last thing is America to be in war, period. This is going to potentially end very, very badly. If we find ourselves in an all-out war with Iran, and we know that China is complicit in its relationship with Iran, we could end up in a very bad place. So we have to make sure that that Congress, who has the power, the only entity that has the power to actually declare war per the Constitution. But we know this president doesn't always listen. And that's where that second C comes in, and that's the courts. And you talk about the other things that he's doing that we all agree with are egregious and unconstitutional. Yes, there are hearings. We have oversight hearings that are going on looking into the actions of Secretary of Defense Hegseth for the things that they're doing. Unfortunately, some of that is within the prerogative of the president, and that's unfortunate. But the best way to do that, to stop that, is to vote and to make sure we defeat he and our Vance next time around. The other thing is midterms will be coming up, and we got to vote to make sure that we get a few more seats in the United States Congress. And then in a year and a half, we will be in a position where we can stop this stuff, because we will then do what we don't do now. We'll control the votes. We can have the control of the votes. Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker of the House, and then we can stop this madness. But we can only do that through coming out to vote. The last part about that you didn't mention, but I don't know if you guys heard, but we should all bring it to the light. It was announced yesterday that President Trump removed the bust of Dr. Martin Luther King from the White House.
Yep.
That's just the question I want to ask, and I know I'm supposed to be answering questions, and I'm happy to do that, but I want to pose this question just as a rhetorical question. What are all those knucklehead black folk thinking who supported Trump when he does all this egregious stuff, spitting in the face of African Americans every single day? What are y'all thinking when you stand there with him, skinning and grinning like a step and fetch it fool? What are you thinking when this man is disrespecting your very being, the leaders who fought and brought us to where we are, to have him summarily disrespect them? I just like to know, and I will ask some of them if I ever have the opportunity to encounter them, and they're so willing to listen to me. I'm going to ask that question. How do you feel today, knowing that yet again your orange president has disrespected our black leaders?
It's Congressman, it's extremely shameful, and to the point Miss Alicia was making as well. When Hegseth went before the Senate and had to answer the questions, excuse me, there were the grandchildren of one of the men in the audience, and he could not articulate in front of those family members why he was removing their family member's name from the vessel, except to say he's restoring it back to the original name that shouldn't have been changed in the first place. So to me, that's them signaling to us exactly what this is about. This was never about waste, abuse, and fraud. It was simply about trying to go back to a time where most of us didn't have rights, and there were only a certain amount, a certain fashion of people have the right to dictate what happens with other people. That's the time that they want to go back to. And they have marching orders, and they're in lockstep with their commander-in-chief. Even if they don't believe in what he's saying, they have to just go along with it.
The whole notion of make America great again. Make America, bring it back to what? What's the good old days? What do you mean the good old days when we couldn't vote?
Right.
Good old days when we were hung from trees as strange fruit. The good old days when you can just separate our families, rape our women, and emasculate our men. The good old days when we were enslaved. Is that what you talk about?
Yep.
Yeah, the good old days for them. Make America great is a code that's not so much a code. It's a dog whistle that's not so much a dog whistle. They're not hiding their hand. They want to be superior. They want their advantage. They want supremacy, and that's what make America great is. That's what Donald Trump is doing, and that's why he's not hiding his hand. That's why my question of Black Republicans are, what is it that you aren't seeing that the rest of the world is seeing?
Yeah.
What is it about this man that you continue to Tim Scott, who got on stage during the campaign and said, "I love you, Mr. Trump."
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And look, Reverend Calhoun is on line 3. Good morning, Rev. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning to all. To your rhetorical question, Councilman, all of the above. My concern is Vietnam was never a war. It was a conflict. Does he have the authority to put us into a conflict? I think, 50,000 people died in Vietnam? I'm trying to understand a little bit about not only asking the Black leadership about standing with Trump. How can Scalise and Mike Johnson and all of those stand up and not see the racism that's being generated from this person? I don't know how we hold. I know you're saying we go vote, but there should be some type of accountability for what this man is doing. And then, I don't know. It seems to me that we just sitting back and saying, "Oh, look at what Trump doing," and without really coming together as a unit, as a group, to try to fight against his. He's wrecked the economy. He's done. You name it. He's went in and he's destroyed any and everything he's touched. A convicted felon talking about criminals. I don't get it no more. I don't understand it anymore. This thing does not make sense. So I guess my question is, can he put us in a conflict and not call it a war?
Thank you,
Rev.
Rev.
Thank you for your question, your tireless leadership in the community. Every time I look up, you're there. We appreciate you. The Constitution is very clear. Only Congress can declare war. There are provisions where, in cases of an emergency, the president can retaliate if we are attacked. But to disband our troops, to send our troops to war, only Congress has that power. Now, having said that, remember, we're dealing with someone that doesn't appreciate the separation of powers. We're dealing with someone who doesn't necessarily believe in our Constitution, doesn't necessarily believe in or respect our rule of law. We are going to do as we continue to do, and we're going to fight him every step of the way, and he will not send our young men and women into harm's way in a foreign war that perhaps we shouldn't be in without Congress's permission.
Listen, Congressman, we appreciate your insight and all that you bring. We have callers. T-Bone, can you hold for a second? We have to go to break, but when we come back, we'll hear more right here on WBOK from our Congressman, the Troy Carter. Stay with us. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
All day long.
I got you covered.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Partly cloudy skies with highs in the low to mid 90s, but feeling like 105 and above. We also have a chance for scattered showers and storms, especially late in the afternoon and the evening. Some of these could be on the heavy side. We're also expecting to see lots of lightning. Then more 90s Friday with another chance for scattered showers and storms in the afternoon. More low to mid 90s for the weekend. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Accru NOLA invites you to join their community network in celebration honoring Juneteenth and Pride Month. On Thursday, June 19th, diverse professionals will gather for FET by Accru, an evening of authentic connection and collaboration from 5 to 8 p.m. at the lab on Ursulines Avenue. This safe, inclusive space brings together innovators across the greater New Orleans area and the Gulf South for meaningful conversations that advances your business and professional career. Accru creates pathways for sustainable growth through genuine community. So for driven networking like this, learn more at accrunola.com/RSVP.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And we are back. If you're just joining us, you're missing out on the conversation with our Congressman Troy Carter, as he does each and every Thursday right here on WBOK. We're going to go straight to the phone lines because they're hot. T-Bone, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter. T-Bone, are you there? We must have lost him. Hey, Congressman, are you still with us?
I am. I'm here.
And listen, we appreciate you being here. I'm sorry we missed that opportunity to chat with T-Bone, but we have to talk to you about the reproductive health care roundtable discussion with Whip Catherine Clark.
That's big. That's big.
Yes, we
Bringing
have
the
the
whip in.
opportunity to as we talk about, so many of these things that are important in our community. We know that those are things that are, again, unfortunately, under attack. And when we talk about women's freedoms and reproductive freedoms and the things that we see Roe v. Wade and we see the attack on our budget, taking away Planned Parenthood resources. This is a very well thought out, systematic dismantling of the things that are important to everyday American people, rather through budget constraints, out and out repeal of laws. And we need to keep talking about it. And as a strong advocate of reproductive freedoms and a woman's right to choose and having proper pre and post-natal care, we know that our maternal health outcomes are dismal, particularly for Black women. We have coming to Louisiana, and she's here now, Whip Catherine Clark, who is from the great state of Massachusetts, who is third in charge of the United States House of Representatives and a fearless leader in our party, a fearless advocate for women's rights. And today we're going to have a roundtable discussion at Christian Unity on at 1700 Conti, and it's open to the public. We're joined by other health care and people that are in this space that know that Louisiana has become ground zero for a new wave of restrictions. You know, just weeks ago, we became the first state to classify pills and controlled substance, putting methylprednisolone and misoprostol in the same category as Xanax. It's ridiculous. You want to make every effort to modify a woman's right, even to the extent that wanting to challenge people who've had miscarriages and arrest them or arrest doctors who care for them. Listen, we cannot sit back. And so the reason we're having this discussion is to create a roundtable with noted experts and to have our leader in the Democratic Party to come and be with us. Whip Catherine Clark has been a member of Congress and has been fighting in this space her entire career as a former district attorney, as a former member of the legislature, now a member of Congress. Her history is very rich in fighting for many, many causes, but one of the most significant is her rich history in fighting for reproductive freedoms and the rights of women to have bodily autonomy. So it's going to be a very good and spirited discussion. Once again, blending my 3 C's, the Congress, the courts, and the community, and all will be invited to have this discussion, to listen to where Congress is currently, how we're fighting back in Congress. We will hear from State Representative Delisha Boyd, who is a noted expert and fearless leader in this space. We will have other people from Planned Parenthood, other community activists, and those who have been negatively impacted by the lack of resources and the threat to take them away will all be present. So I hope you guys will be able to come out, be a part of this. Again, it is on Conti, 1700 Conti Street, New Orleans Christian Unity Baptist Church at 2:30 today.
2:30 p.m. today. That's Reverend Dr. Kevin Stevens' church, I believe.
That is correct.
Yep. And you also have Caitlin Joshua from the Power Coalition and Michelle Ehrenberg from Lyft and Patrice Sams Adeon from Planned Parenthood of the Gulf Coast. So that sounds like a good way to, in part, observe Juneteenth because there are too many of us who are affected by these issues, and perhaps we don't realize that. This would be a good opportunity to learn and gain some education and opportunity to ask questions. And not often that you have the Democratic whip in your city.
That's exactly right. And it's a big deal, and we appreciate it, and particularly appreciate the expertise and passion that she brings to this subject matter. And we wanted to make sure, in addition to, and the reason I did it on Juneteenth, in addition to participating in the various Juneteenth celebrations, I also want to demonstrate that Juneteenth is a day of action. In addition to celebrating, we also want to make sure that we're talking about current affairs and issues that impact us right now. Yes, we should always celebrate and know the significance of Juneteenth, but we should marry it with a day of action to talk about current affairs, current threats. Juneteenth was horrific, and it kept us from knowing something we should have known, and giving us the opportunity to enjoy our freedom far sooner. Today, our freedoms are also threatened when we threaten women and tell them they can't control their own bodies. When we threaten a woman's autonomy and her ability to have body autonomy to determine what's best for her. When we tell a 10 or 12-year-old child that she has to carry a baby that she has been impregnated by a rapist, incestor, that she has to keep that baby. When we think about someone who's been brutally raped they have to keep and raise this baby. When we think about people who will perhaps die if they continue the pregnancy, they have to continue this. This is unconscionable. No one's telling men what to do with their bodies, and we should not be telling women what to do with theirs.
Absolutely, Congressman. And as always, it's always so much to talk to you about, because when you come, folks come with their questions because they have direct access to you. So we appreciate you for being here. And when you were talking about this particular thing, it brought my brain to the young woman in Georgia.
Absolutely.
It brought my brain to her, who she was brain dead since February, and they kept her on these machines. She was 6 weeks pregnant at the time, but they kept her hooked up to the machines against her family's wishes, and they just removed the baby from her body cavity because she's no longer there with her child at her side. He was at her bedside. It took my brain there that we don't even have autonomy over our own bodies, and our families don't get to step in when we can no longer make the decision. Hospitals and doctors are making a decision based on these abortion laws that are happening all across the state. So I think now more than ever, these sorts of conversations are absolutely necessary. And I thank you for availing yourself to the public to have them. So thank you for your service to this community as always. And thank you for being here each and every Thursday. We appreciate you here at WBOK.
And thank you for hosting me last week. It was wonderful to see you at work in person. And I want to let people know that it was a good opportunity to be there with you. But you have a team, and I saw the hustle and the bustle of those folks who help you get this work done.
Yes, I am. First of all, thank you for coming to the nation's capital and kind of coming into the mix of where it all happens and taking the time to come and spend some time with us. It was great to have you. But I want to take the time to thank what you just mentioned. I have a fantastic team of people who really care about the people of Louisiana and the people of America. So shout out to my incredible staff. Every one of them are absolutely amazing. They wake up every day fighting for the people of Louisiana, and I could not be better served by a group of people who have my back and have your back. And they're on those phones, and they're dealing with federal agencies. They're in the community with our LAO2 curbside services. They're providing information from our comm shop to make sure that information is getting to you in real time. Our legislative and community people are on it. And thanks for recognizing that, Brother Will, because oftentimes they aren't thanked as much as they should be. They aren't paid nearly as much as they deserve. They're hard-working individuals, and I'm grateful to have such a powerful and blessed team of people working with me to get the job done.
Absolutely, Congressman, and we thank you for your tireless work. But look, let me say something fun to you before you go. So, Essence is coming, and I have a really good friend. She looks at Essence as her birthday celebration. So we need to get her a Essence birthday party package, and I'm asking you to do that. You will make her day, my day, and everybody's day, because that's a celebration for her. That she thinks of Essence as her own party. So shout out to Armtrees, because that is her birthday weekend. So we got to see what we could do for
Armtrees. We're gonna have a big old party for you. So we'll figure out how to make this a lasting one, a very special one this year.
Thank you, Congressman. I love you. I appreciate you. And I know my mother's always watching and listening. So we get to hear from you each and every Thursday. So thank you so much. Happy Juneteenth. And I'll see you this afternoon. I'll see you at 2:30. I'll pass over there.
Oh, fantastic. Love you guys. Love the family. God bless you. God bless WBOK.
Absolutely,
right.
Congressman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Listen, we got to go to break, y'all. But when we come back, we'll hear from Montreal Carmouche from Operation Restoration at the 820 mark. She's a senior advisor of quality care, talking about the Juneteenth Community Resource Fair. So stay with us right here. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
WBOK New Orleans. home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
New Schools for New Orleans is committed to keeping and finding great teachers for our students in Orleans Parish. If you or someone you know is interested in becoming a teacher for the 25-26 school year, let us help you. We've created the New Orleans Teacher Job Board, which is the official job platform of public schools in New Orleans. You can apply to any school in the city. Simply post your resume and provide information about yourself. Visit our website to learn more and apply. www.neworleansteacherjobboard.org.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. The Supreme Court is backing a Tennessee law that blocks gender transition care for minors, including black minors. The ruling from the court will likely cause wide impact on 24 other states that have similar laws to the one in Tennessee. The law bans transition surgery, puberty blockers, and hormone therapy. This move has gotten opposition from many who support LGBTQ rights.
Why can cisgender young people receive the treatment and transgender young people not? And the difference is their sex. That's sex discrimination.
50 Cent is defending Tyler Perry from sexual assault claims. On Instagram, the rapper shared a photo of him with Perry and questioned the allegations made against his friend. In another post, 50 reaffirmed that he didn't believe the claims. Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million by actor Derek Dixon, who worked on several of his shows. Today is Juneteenth, celebrating the end of slavery in the U.S. Get BIN News Now on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ashanta White. Shout out to my super producer, Naren. And my co-host, Will Sutton. Hey, Will.
Good morning, New Orleans.
And listen, each and every Thursday, we are so blessed to have access to our congressman, and we thank him for availing himself to us each and every Thursday. But if you want to see him today in person, he's going to be at 1700 Conti Street at 2:30 at Christian Unity Baptist Church with the House Democratic Whip Catherine Clark as they talk about reproductive health care. So join us 2:30 today, 1700 Conti Street. Listen, I saw shout out to you guys in the chat who are admiring my shirt. Yeah,
dope.
Being black is dope. That's what it says, y'all. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what it says. Happy Juneteenth. I even have my little bracelet on. Y'all see it to go with it. I'm Juneteenth down today, y'all. So shout out to y'all for even noticing and admiring the shirt. But yes, being black is super extra dope. But there's some things going on that I want to talk to you guys about as it relates to our local environment. There's always an annual Hispanic Heritage Festival happening that takes place in Kenner. This year, it is canceled, and the city wants us to believe that it's being canceled because of funding, in quotation marks. What I can tell you is I don't buy it, and neither are the people in the city of Kenner. We know that because I told you here on the show that the city of Kenner has a partnership with ICE, and they are actually riding along as ICE agents raid communities, the different areas in that community. And so if I were the folk who put on the Hispanic Heritage Festival, I wouldn't want to put folk in harm's way either. So I know that this funding idea does not feel right. It don't sound right. It don't smell right to me. I believe that it's more so to do with this partnership that our local police department has gone into with ICE agents. And I mean, it's just so baffling to me because what I'm asking the city, what I'm asking our city, Kenner, all of y'all want to go after folk because you believe that they're illegal immigrants because you want to appease your commander-in-chief. But I find it very telling that nobody's going after the employers of these people. Because what you're going to find is many of y'all, Y'all hiring them, work on your roof, cut your grass, fix your car, all those things. But nobody talks about that. We come down on people and we don't come down on the systems that put people in positions to have their safety threatened. Because now this annual Hispanic Heritage Festival is being canceled with a significant number of vendors withdrawing from the event. The mayor's office said a majority of the vendors pulled out of the festival, making it not financially feasible to plan. That don't smell right to me, Mr. Mayor. If you're a man, I don't even know the mayor of Kenner.
Man.
Right? Mr. Mayor? That don't smell right to me. They've never had issues with finances before. But the year that y'all decide that y'all want to go into partnership with ICE, all of a sudden there's some financial difficulty. Yeah, miss us with that. We don't believe it. We don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't know what we'll believe. I don't believe it. City leader said the cancellation was not due to ICE raid concerns. Yeah, okay. However, the canceled event does come after the Kenner police chief partnered with ICE to crack down on illegal immigrants in the area. Saying that our Hispanic Heritage Festival was canceled out of fear of ICE raids is not an accurate statement. We don't believe y'all, though. We don't believe you. We had to cancel this event because of lack of funding. I didn't believe that when that came out of your mouth on the news, and I don't believe it as I'm reading it, Miss Valerie Brolin. She's the public information officer for Kenner. You know they handed you that statement and you had to read it. I'm not even mad at you. Do your job, sis. But don't sit in my face and play with me. Kenner has the largest Hispanic population in the state.
In the state, in the entire state
Comprising
of
more than
Louisiana.
30% of its citizens, many of whom are devastated by the cancellation of the celebration of their culture. That's why we don't believe you. We believe y'all went into partnership with ICE because of that very reason. Y'all are the largest population in the state of Louisiana. So just like they targeted us for that charter experiment because we had that big black rich population, and I mean rich as in culture, not rich as in wealth, because if we had y'all kind of money, y'all wouldn't be playing with us like this. Yeah, but we don't believe you. I don't believe you. So I sympathize with the community out there in Kenner. Maybe you want to find y'all somewhere else to live because y'all are tax-paying citizens that actually participate in the viability of that community. Your tax dollars help that community thrive. And y'all's 30%. Take your money and go elsewhere. Go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated, because if y'all good enough to pay taxes, certainly you're good enough to protect from ICE agents. That's just my opinion. What you think, Will?
Yeah, one of the things about what's happening from Washington and the Trump administration is that it's a policy, philosophy, ordering folks. It's their job to take orders and directives. I don't think all of those people in ICE want to do these things, but they're doing them because that's their job. And some of these things are just flat out wrong. A lot of these things, more and more every day. And you have people who are living their lives, and they have previously said they want to deport so many people, but what they're doing is indiscriminately arresting people and messing with people's lives. Indiscriminately. So there's not even a good reason. So because somebody looks a certain way,
right,
or because they live in a certain apartment complex, or because they're at a certain event, or in some cases because somebody is going to school on behalf
and many of these
their
people,
child.
And many of these people are here legally.
Yes.
They're here legally. So if we're going to start with folk who are here legally, but you don't believe that they should be here because you believe that they're immigrants, then are we going to start with the First Lady of the White House? Because she is not native here.
No.
Or are we going to talk about J.D. Vance's wife? Like, are we just going to go down the line? Or are we going to, like, overlook them because they have the wealth and they have the connections to protect them from this type of behavior? Because we're snatching folk off the street and detaining them and putting them in places where their family members don't have access to them. They're actually raiding offices where people go for their immigration meetings.
Right.
Doing it the right way. And they're raiding those offices and detaining those people. So I don't believe the Kenner officials when they sit in our face and tell us it's about a funding thing. No, it's about because you went into partnership with ICE. And these are taxpaying citizens, 30% of your population out there. I don't buy it. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Oh.
Good God morning to all of you all. I am calling just to rejoice in this day we have made. Today, Juneteenth, is a special day, and I really wanted to just help us take a moment to just think about how good this day is. I am calling to tell you about that and also to tell you about the Freedom Summer Film Fest that we are putting on in the city and actually in the state. It's a film fest that honors and celebrates notions of freedom. It's the second year that we've done it, and this year we are starting with the film today, Juneteenth, Faith and Freedom. It really talks about how faith has been the cornerstone of our survival, of our advancement, and how it's really important for us to take a look at how we survive and what helps us to survive. And this Freedom Film Fest was started last year with the partnership of several arts and cultural civic organizations. And this year we wanted to continue. We've grown it different places. We've shown it in Monroe. We're also doing it here in the city at the Center for Faith and Action. The NAACP has joined us, and we're doing virtual screenings throughout the month of June. And we're really excited to really hone in on how we have survived and how faith has played such an important role in doing that. The film is so powerful, and it really tells the story of that history. It talks about Opal Lee, who is the founder grandmother of it. And one of the things that she wanted us to do was to celebrate Juneteenth from now until July 4th. So that's one of the things we're also trying to do with this Faith and Freedom filming, screening. So I hope that we can invite people to come and join us in the celebration.
When is it?
Yeah.
When is
Go
it,
ahead.
Miss Cheryl? When is it? What time? What place?
Well, it's actually starting today. It is being shown virtually, and people need to contact us, sandpope26@gmail.com to sign up. And they can watch it whenever they can between now and the 4th of July. It's also being shown in person. We're hoping to be talking also, not only seeing it ourselves, but talking with each other to advance notions of freedom. It's June 21st at 6:30 at the St. Charles Center for Faith and Action, 7100 St. Charles Avenue.
Okay.
And we also are going to be doing films throughout the summer. This is just the first film. We'll be doing films on freedom and justice with the incarcerated, and also we're celebrating the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and that's in August. So we're really wanting to get people to be more informed, educated, and also be inspired to do the work that we need to continue to do. And we wanted to start it with the Foundation of Faith with this first film.
Thank you so much.
That's today at 7 p.m. virtual, and then June 21st at the Center for Faith and Action on St. Charles.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, and sandpope@gmail.com is the way for people to reach out.
Sandpope26.
Sandpope26
yes.
at Gmail.
Thank you, Miss Cheryl. We appreciate you.
All right.
Have a blessed one. Good morning, Wendell. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. Are you,
Wendell?
You got a question? You want to?
I'm here.
You got a comment? What's up?
No, I'm calling in to talk about last night's event.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we had a great time out at Xavier. We had a great representation at the Juneteenth Seder. I think it was actually really great to see both the African American and the Jewish community come together to celebrate this day of liberation for those in Galveston. It was a really great time. It was great to see you there last night, Will.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
And great to share with everyone in the room. One of the things that I grapple with when I look at this is where liberation is for our people today. So as I hear the conversations about what's happening with immigration in this country, when I hear the conversation about what's happening globally with war, it's just a stark reminder that we have a long way to go for everyone to truly be free. And I say this all the time, until we're all free, we still have a chance to lose. And so it was really great to see a recommitment, a rededication from all the folks in the room. I think we had about 80 people that joined us last night, so it's really exciting. Shout out to the Federation of Greater New Orleans, as well as our partners at ADL, the NAACP, and Xavier and Tulane Hillel for coming together to make this work.
Well, thank you so much for calling in to tell us more about it. We would love. We'll mention it earlier. We'll continue to talk about all the wonderful events that are going on surrounding Juneteenth. We appreciate you for calling in to give us your insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed one.
All right, great.
Good morning, Pop. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Wise and Will Sutton and your producer.
Good morning.
How you doing, Pop?
All right, now. I was trying to get in when the congressman was there, but I wasn't able to get in.
Well, we sorry. You can still give your commentary. He's still here, and I guarantee I will tell him at 2:30 what you had to say. So what's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about his mom, who I know very well, how she was doing.
Okay. Look,
And
I'm gonna text
he's
that
doing
right
a
now and get
wonderful
your
job.
answer.
What I wanted to address, I'm a regular visitor in Chicago, and there's Independence Day for Hispanics, Mexicans, and it's just about take over the whole downtown. And they strictly represent Mexico. They carry their flag and everything. So I'm wondering just what the Washington is going to do about them, because they're already attacking Illinois and Chicago. So I wonder if they're going to cancel, or they're going to cancel that parade, because they usually take over the whole downtown.
Yeah, that's pretty big, actually. I know what you're talking about from my days in Gary, Indiana, and it's huge.
Right there.
It's huge. It's huge, and there are folks from across Chicago and from across Chicagoland. So folks from Indiana and Wisconsin and other parts of Illinois, and with what's been going on recently, you're right to point that out, because it might be a prime ice snatch 'em opportunity.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you, Pop.
All right, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely, always.
I just want to say, Pop,
hello, and I'd like to hear how his mom is doing.
I text him. I'm waiting on
Pop,
the answer for
Pop,
you.
I just want to say,
All
I think
righty.
that was a sharp comment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pop. Have a blessing. Listen, we got to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to continue talking about it. Our upcoming guest is Montreal Kamuch from Operation Restoration. She's a senior advisor of quality care. She's going to be calling in, talking about the Juneteenth Community Resource Fair. So stay with us right here. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Hey, this is Steve Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen
do longer.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU, and here's a look at today's headlines. The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a shooting in Central City. It happened near the intersection of Washington Avenue and Clara Street just before 3:45 a.m. Police say a man showed up at a local hospital with a gunshot wound. There's no word on the extent of his injuries or a suspect in this case. And the NOPD is also looking for leads after a man was found shot to death in the St. Roch neighborhood. It happened at Franklin Avenue and North Prier Street around 8:30 last night. Police say the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, no suspects have been announced. We also don't know the victim's identity at this time. Then New Orleans Councilman Eugene Green wants to increase fines if someone is caught vandalizing a building in the city. It would bump up penalties for anyone who tags a place with graffiti to a minimum of $500 and a max of $1,000. The full council must approve that ordinance. And finally, the Tigers are waking up winners again. Last night, LSU defeated Arkansas with a walk-off hit in the bottom of the ninth. First baseman Jared Jones hit the game-winning single to bring in a run and secure the win. The final score, 6-5. LSU will now face Coastal Carolina in the championship series starting Saturday at 6 p.m. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Shout out to my super producer, Nyron Sanders, and my co-host, Will Sutton. Hey,
Good
Will.
morning.
Listen, we're getting ready to jump into conversation with Montrell Carmouche from Operation Restoration. She's the Senior Advisor of Quality Care. She's going to call in talking to us about Juneteenth Community Resource Fair. Good morning, Montrell. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
No, thank you for being here. So this resource fair, is this an annual event for Juneteenth, or is this your inaugural event?
No, absolutely. It's our third annual event. We do this every year, and every year we try to make it get bigger and bigger in the spirit of Juneteenth.
Well, absolutely. And does what you're doing for Juneteenth align with the mission of Operation Restoration? Can you talk to us about your mission as it relates to that organization?
Yes, absolutely. So Operation Restoration supports women and girls impacted by incarceration. We also lead a community bail fund trying to disrupt the cash bail system here in New Orleans. And this definitely aligns because, as we all know, we waited years to even find out about the Emancipation Proclamation, and it was just more delayed justice, and still here we are in 2025, still fighting for delayed justice. So we are intentional about honoring the spirit of Juneteenth, but not just through reflection and celebration, but most of all, like a call to action.
And so does that align with your inspiration of what inspired Operation Restoration to organize this Juneteenth Community Resource Fair?
Absolutely. It definitely aligns with our mission in totality, but also it just moves forward in the mission every day, what we try to do in bringing community together, supporting people, meeting people where they are. That's why today we will be giving out free hot meals, free clothing, frozen cups. We will be supporting the kids because we have some of our amazing partners there with us. Today, our theme for today is we're shooting basketballs, not people.
Hey.
We're coming together and we're calling to action. We'll have some great partners NOLA Can Do Kids, Top Boss Basketball. We're also going to address the mental health piece with Mindful Horizon, our first mental health urgent care here in the city of New Orleans, also run by a woman of color. So, yes, today all of this is being aligned. We have partners like Power Coalition. We're still believing in freedom, so that's why we'll be hosting our expungement clinic as well. We have the Innocence Project. We have a lot of great community partners out with us today. So, absolutely, this aligns with our mission, but the bulk of it is it aligns with community and what we need in these times to just come together and continue to celebrate, standing on the backs of one another, fighting for freedom.
I'm really happy to see that you have the expungement clinic. It's so important for folks who maybe got connected to a system, into the system, and it wasn't their intention, but for whatever reason that they find themselves there. Not in all cases can somebody have something expunged, but in those cases where you can, it's good to have people who know what they're doing, to know the steps, because it can be costly, and some people can, frankly, try to rip you off because they're going to try. And it does cost money, but if you know the right steps with the people who care about this and care about the people, it's important for an opportunity like this.
And absolutely, and that's taking place today at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Can you give us the address to the event?
Absolutely. It's 2908 Martin Luther King. And the great part about it this year, we'll be from Willow Street all the way to Claiborne. So we're going to block off in a 2-block radius and make this a Juneteenth block party.
Whoa, that's big. And we were talking about voting earlier today, and I see you're going to have opportunity for voter registration.
Absolutely. We will be registering the folks to vote on site. We do have available Wi-Fi to make this happen. We do have volunteers and people supporting. And also they have all the information on the Go Vote website. If people want to know what they need to bring with them, all you need to really do is show a valid driver's license or other issue proof of identity. And we'll get you registered to vote today. But we need to let people know the truth about the voting, right? Because most folks, when we say, are you registered to vote? They say, I can't vote. If you were convicted of a felony and sentenced to probation, your right to vote is not impacted if you were previously registered. But if you've been convicted of a felony and sentenced to incarceration, you can register to vote again 5 years after being paroled, even if you're still on parole or probation. A lot of people, there's this myth going around that I can't vote. You still can vote. And we have all of that information ready for you at the resource fair as well. Free food. We got some good red beans and rice, barbecue chicken. We took it back to real. We got Double Dutch and Jacks for the kids. We got frozen cups. And we'll be on the avenue. Martin Luther King. It's Juneteenth.
All right. That's at Potbelly, right?
Potbelly NOLA.
Yep. All right.
So before
sounds like a good time.
2908 Martin Luther King Street.
Before we let you go, can you tell folks where they can get more information about the event or about Operation Restoration's work?
Absolutely. You can go to our website at or-nola.org and find out all the information you need to know about the work that we do and how we can support you, your family, and people you may know in the community. And you can also go and get all of the details about what you'll need for expungement, what paperwork you should bring with you, and cases in which that are due for expungement, because every charge can be expunged. But we'll have that information for you there, but it's also on our website, as well as the justiceandaccountability.org website. Ours is or-nola.org.
Well, we absolutely appreciate you spending a few moments with us to talk to us about the Juneteenth Community Resource Fair, which is happening today from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Potbelly NOLA. That is 2908 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. So shout out to your organization and all of the partner organizations who are collaboratively coming together to make this event a success. So thank you, Montreal, for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us, and I appreciate you all as well. Hope to see y'all there as well.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
Have a blessed
Something
one.
not to miss.
Have a blessed
Yes,
one.
indeed.
Look, happy Juneteenth, everybody. And we want to thank Montreal Carmouche from Operation Restoration. She's the Senior Advisor of Quality Care. She came on to talk to us about the Juneteenth Community Resource Fair. Will, tell us again where the location is. We know it's happening today at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, Potbelly NOLA, 2908 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And that's just the main address, because what the sister said is it's going to stretch for at least 2 blocks.
Oh, wow. So it's like a block party.
So it's going to be old-fashioned block party.
Yep.
They've got a jump rope and hopscotch, and they got expungement opportunities, voter registration. Going to have entertainment, music, kids' corner. So bring the family, bring the kids, bring the grandkids, the nieces and the nephews. Free food and drinks. You heard that right?
Mm-hmm.
Free 99, free food and drinks. So you don't have something planned. This sounds like a great opportunity to find out what's going on, have a little fun, get some knowledge, make sure you are registered and up to date to prepare for the fall elections. If you know someone or if you think you might be eligible for expungement, visit there today and find out how. What are the next steps, and just be a part of the community. Come on out and have a good time.
And listen, so again, we want to thank Montreal Carmouche for joining us, and our Congressman Troy Carter for joining us this morning. Happy Juneteenth, everybody! Once again, I want to take and take a shift. The Men of Zulu are going to be featured on Netflix in the film entitled "A King Like Me." It is directed by Matthew Henderson, produced by Fisher Stevens. It has been at South by Southwest Film and TV Festival, the New Orleans Film Festival, and it has had recognitions at Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival for Best Documentary. It is called A King Like Me. Wendell Pierce posted, and he said, "A King Like Me is a film that documents the profound cultural impact of the iconic Mardi Gras crew, the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club, a carnival club started by a group of black men at the height of the oppressive segregation of New Orleans, and grew it into the renowned organization that it is today." So A King Like Me is going to be on Netflix if you want to check it out. Shout out to the organization that is the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Will, have you had an opportunity to see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
I think this is going to be my opportunity. I missed it when it was released. It's gotten some really nice critic remarks, and it's a wonderful opportunity to connect to Zulu, because it is connected to Katrina, but it gives some of the history of Zulu and what they've meant in the city of New Orleans, and this is a great opportunity. As we get into this season of looking back on Katrina and what it did to us, and how we move forward, this is a documentary piece of entertainment and information that would be good to watch.
Well, and shout out to once again to the men of the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. I believe the platform is Netflix, where you can find A King Like Me, and we're going to keep it local this time. It might not be so great to keep it local, because there are reports that the children of the city who served as lifeguards are frustrated by delayed paychecks, and the city promises a quick fix. It says multiple lifeguards working at the New Orleans City Pool say they have not received their paychecks despite already working several weeks this summer. There is the young lady's name has been a lifeguard for the New Orleans Recreation Department on and off for 11 years. She says lifeguards at the city pool in her neighborhood taught her how to swim as a child, inspiring her career choice. The lifeguards took time to work with me, taught me how to swim. That's what introduced the lifeguard position. I know I wanted to do it. I knew I liked the water. Why not get paid for doing something I enjoyed? The summer session began on May 31st, and after 2 weeks of work, the young lady says she expected a paycheck, but it never arrived. What I want to say is this. With all of the issues and the conversations going on around what is or isn't working for our NOR department, we have to ensure that when our youth sign themselves up to do service on behalf of the community that requires them to get paid, that they get paid. There is no excuse for this. I really don't care what has to happen. I feel the same way about this as I felt about the money that is owed to the schools for the children. I don't care what has to happen. The children have to get paid. And this to me is one of those things where I don't care about like political jarring and none of that. All I care about is what is the solution to get the kids paid. And for me, that is the only reason why I'm talking about this. I want to amplify this conversation so that the young folk who have availed themselves for service to do a service on behalf of this community, they need to be paid. Full stop. There is no back and forth. I don't really care. Put the right people in the room, human resources, the CEO of NARD, the mayor, whomever you need to put in the room, and just leave the room with a solution on how to get these people, these young people, their money expeditiously. MITI voice, okay? That is all I care about. The city lifeguards earn $16.72 an hour. So that is money that is in most households that is needed. And we can't have people going to work and not having a paycheck to show for their work. Pay the babies however it has to happen. Full stop there, right? That's what I
in a
want to
number
say
of these
there.
cases, I mean, these are younger people who are learning about working
Yeah.
and employment, and they don't need the example of this is how it works. It
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
They need to be encouraged that when you put in your time,
Yeah.
do what you're supposed to do, you are compensated.
Yeah.
You are compensated. They need to learn that while they are teenagers and become young adults. And so it's just wrong not to pay.
And this is the
But
danger.
it also is the kind of lesson that we need our
Yeah.
young people to learn the right way.
And here is the danger. The young lady is quoted, and I'm purposely not saying her name. I mean, it's in an article. You can read it. But I don't think I need to use her name as much as I need to make certain that what she's saying underscores for every person that doesn't get paid for services that are rendered. She said the ordeal is undermining her passion for a job she has loved for over a decade. That is the most hurtful thing that you can hear from somebody. This is a young lady who said Nora was instrumental in her life, taught her how to swim, gave her the energy to want to do the work as employment. Could you imagine being introduced to something and you like it so much you want to do it as a career, and now you're falling out of love with it because of how the system is handling you? Well, this is a quote, a statement directly from the city. The city of New Orleans sincerely apologizes to the New Orleans Recreational Department Commission seasonal employees who have been impacted by this payroll issue. NORD appreciates the dedication of these employees and their patience regarding this matter. The city is working diligently to solve this payroll issue that is impacting NORD as soon as possible to get these employees paid. Again, we offer our apologies and thank these employees for their patience. So my question would be, is this payroll delay impacting every person who works for the city, or is it just the seasonal workers? Because if it's just the seasonal workers, that's a bigger problem. Because the same way you get your check timely, these young folk needs to get their checks timely. And I don't really have a back and forth about it. I just want them to get their money. Full stop. Money has to be paid. Good morning, T-Bone. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. We lost you earlier.
Sorry about that. Actually, I had to drop. I was taking care of different things, trying to get people out the door.
No worries.
Hey, take care of your business.
So let me speak on this part. I know, look, I'm 50-something, but I know even as a youngster, when I was in my teens and I had a summer job, I needed to get paid. And if I wasn't getting paid, it made no sense for me to work. That's the way that is. And I know not a single, and I'm going to say it like this because I'm mad for them kids as a parent. I know not a single damn official who's sitting in their seat for free.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Neither one of y'all, okay, in New Orleans language, neither one of y'all sitting in y'all seat for free. Mr. Barabino, you need to fix this. Okay? Now, what I was originally calling about, and I really want to talk to the council. I'm talking to Mr. Troy Carter. I want to ask him, what are they going to do? Well, wait. Specifically, let me put this on y'all. The group that I was talking about the other day, they're a white nationalist hate group dealing with neo-Nazism, and they're called Patriot Front. Get that down. Mm-hmm. Patriot Front. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is just like I said yesterday. These people are dressed exactly like ICE agents. They have the long handkerchief, the sunglasses, and a baseball cap. This is their uniform. How many ICE agents have we seen in the news coverage recently that are dressed like this? Put it together, y'all. What are you going to do, Honorable Troy Carter? What are y'all doing to combat this? Because in my humble opinion, and I know a number of police officers, I know a number of ex-military people, in my humble opinion, they should not be dressed like that on all of these parades. They shouldn't be dressed like that at these news conferences to hem up politicians. They shouldn't be taking people in looking like this. Because to me, it makes it look like you have deputized or not deputized. Just put in your group, Proud Boy members, these people. I mean, really, what's next? Are we going to just have the Klan people show up and just grab people in the old school white sheets? Something needs to be done about this.
I agree.
Now, I'm going to get trained up by my police friends, and I'm going to defend my family.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
Thank you, T-Bone. I appreciate
Thanks
you.
for calling.
We're right here with you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Don. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
A very good Juneteenth to you all.
Thanks for calling.
Dr. Wyatt and Brother Will Sutton.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, bro, for your service. You know, speaking on both sides of the spectrum, if you started work May 31st, it has been less than 30 days since your employment. So if you look at from being a business owner, you know, the business cycle is generally 60 to 90 days for the business owner. So a business owner send out their invoices. They may get paid. The pay cycle may be 60 to 90 days for the business owner to receive their payment for service or goods rendered. But so you see the caveat there, or not the caveat, but the incentive may be, you look at an invoice, let's say 2/30. So you'll get a 2% discount. You pay it in 30 days. So when we talk about employees working and in the government, military, you get paid once every 30 days. Once you're in the system, once every 30 days. And so when we talk about working for the city or governments, and we talk about being employees or contractors, you are basically, what you're doing with your service or even your goods, you are issuing credit. So if I work for you and you say, I say, well, when will my services be compensated? You say, well, I pay every 30 days. So I'm giving you basically 30 days credit. So if your credit rating as a business is low, i.e. Donald Trump, why would you do business with that person if that person has a history of not paying invoices or shafting contractors? Okay? This goes to the mantra of people talking about he's a businessman. No, he's a con man in this respect, or anybody. If I render you service, billable hours or whatever, and you're not paying me, and I have to go to court and litigate this, that's extra expense. So I wonder if we're going to teach the young people about financial literacy and understanding how the economy works. When you're an employee, you agree to the pay cycle. And as an employer, you have to stand by this system that you agreed to with the employee. So if the city says that we'll pay you every 30 days starting this date or whatever, that's what you agree to. But you're basically, as an all employees issue credit to their employers. And so if an employer has a bad rating or a city has a low bond rating or a low rating of doing business as a city, business is not going to relocate there. Entrepreneurs are going to be stifled because the city doesn't know how to conduct their business cycle and handle the back office, accounts payable, accounts receivable, inventory. All of those things are in cahoots, or in not cahoots, but in a disarray augmentation. So when we talk about things of that nature, we had to realize the full cycle of the economics. And one other thing, we have to not just have voter registration, have voter registrars. Teach people how to be voter registrars, how they can register people to vote. It's a class they must take, certification and affidavits and all those good things. Let's increase the voter registrars.
Thank you so much, Don. I appreciate you. Listen, Brother Corey, please don't go anywhere. I got to take a break, but I'll catch you right on the other side. Y'all stay with us right here, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Partly cloudy skies with highs in the low to mid-90s, but feeling like 105 and above. We also have a chance for scattered showers and storms, especially late in the afternoon and the evening. Some of these could be on the heavy side. We're also expecting to see lots of lightning. Then more 90s Friday with another chance for scattered showers and storms in the afternoon. More low to mid-90s for the weekend. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month by the community scientists at Rise St. James. This month, we spotlight phthalates, chemicals added to plastics, especially PVC, to make them more flexible and durable. But there's more. Research shows phthalates may disrupt hormones, affect reproductive health, and contribute to environmental pollution impacting our communities. Join us as we explore how these additives shape our everyday lives and the world around us. For more details, visit risestjames.org. Empower your knowledge with Rise.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, People, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Brian Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm your host, Dr. Ashanta White. Shout out to my co-host, Will Sutton. Hey, Will.
Good morning.
We're going to go straight to the phone lines. Brother Corey, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Well, welcome. Hey, good morning, Will Sutton. How you been?
Fabulous.
Yes.
How are you?
I used to see y'all all the time at Justice and Beyond, so I appreciate you all the time when you came out and speak about things.
Right.
Let me say that, congratulations to all those people who putting on this, Juneteenth celebration. And, we always say we want to focus on, our contributions to America and contribution to, to the world, actually. So we focus on that type of, incentive to let everybody know that, we have fashion shows, we have art shows. We have all our creative things that we show for Juneteenth. We've been doing this since 2016. And I'm just supporting just one day. It's Saturday. And do y'all know what Saturday the 21st is? It's been going on like 50 years. It's Saturday. It's the National Music Day.
Right.
And so to have that after the June 19th, I guess we all were singing some fabulous songs. You know what I'm saying? They had to make it Music Day. You know what I'm saying? So we celebrating for Music Day from 12 to 5. Come out to the Tree Meet Hollywood, because Tree Meet, we had that the Tree Meet just for the namesake, because Tree Meet area is the area that started, to our community to build up and have that resilience and have that self-determination in it. So that's what we stands for Juneteenth, that self-determination and that, that unity that we definitely need in every phase of our existence. Unity in every phase, not just fighting for the schools or fighting for this. It's just everything. I don't care if it's just the lack of justice in our food justice in our city. There's places the people can't even go to a store. They got to go somewhere else to go to a store, walk and stuff. So it's not having a store in the community. And those back days, we had stores on every corner where we could walk to and buy some bubble gum. So please, let's all get together Saturday and sing a sweet song for Music Day for that day, and let's that energy, that vibration go out and, make everybody dance and everybody wake up and say, yo, let's make sure the last will be first this time. So peace and love, and
so much,
have a
Brother
great
Corey.
day, and I salute.
Happy Juneteenth. Listen, I appreciate all of our listeners, all of our callers, all of you guys who engage with us in the chat. But we're going to stick to the local news really quickly, because we were talking about the kids not being paid. But remember, Will, in the wake of the terrorist attack that happened in our city on Bourbon Street, remember they brought in an entity to do a report and to figure out what our gap areas were and to tell us how to better shore up our city, right? And so based on this report, the New Orleans Police and Justice Foundation released a final report with suggestions from the nation's leading tactical expert on how to make the city safer. They're referring to Bill Bratton.
Yep.
In this report, he is saying that he's suggesting a permanent pedestrian plaza on Bourbon Street. He's also suggesting making Canal to Dumaine Street pedestrian only. There would be a window in which trucks could make deliveries to businesses, but Bratton's team suggests that the city work with businesses on what hours will be best. The report also recommends barriers at each street, at each cross street. Emergency vehicles will be granted access to pedestrian-only area, according to the report. The report also outlined deficiencies with the city's security plan for big events like Mardi Gras. According to the report, the city does not have sufficient barriers for Mardi Gras parades, and trash cans along the parade routes pose a significant risk for improvised explosive devices, or IEDs. The report also noted that the city does not have a sufficient way to respond to chemical, nuclear, or explosive emergencies. Bratton and his team suggest creating a response plan for these types of incidents and creating clear protocols to secure and remove suspicious material. The report also says that NOPD is understaffed and underdeveloped in responding to complex threats across the city. Bratton and his team suggest that NOPD hire more officers and implement specific training for large-scale events, while also advocating for federal resources for large-scale events. Bratton also suggests increasing the quality of the city's barriers. If the city cannot obtain more barriers, the team suggests alternative strategies for the placement of the existing barriers for future events. Now, I was a little bit puzzled because I thought that this is a place that folk come to be able to learn from our city how to handle big events. Isn't that like a success banner we've been waving?
Yeah.
And so to hear
For
this,
years.
So I'm a bit puzzled by some of these outcomes. Not all of them, some of them, because I thought we were the standard for how big events ought to be handled in police. The council requested a traffic study as well as explored an automated bollard system as part of a long-term solution. Council members and city officials agree that festivals and major events require full closures of Bourbon Street and Cross Streets instead of partial closures. They're also working on ways to ensure Royal Street, where musicians and culture bearers work, is equally protected on Bourbon Street. So that's a part of that report. Did any of that report stand out to you? We don't have much time, but I mean,
we are a model for hosting huge events.
Yeah.
But just because we are a model, just because we might be identified as a best practice, does not mean we don't have weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that clearly points out weaknesses.
Yeah.
So then when you have weaknesses, you got to decide. Are you going to let them be? Or are you going to do something about them?
Absolutely.
Or are you going to do something about them?
And here's the thing. We do large gatherings far too frequently to not do something about it. Because they're talking about Mardi Gras, but I'm thinking about the second lines.
Absolutely.
The second line community brings the community out. I don't care what part of town is doing it. The folk come out en masse to participate in that, right? So it's not just about Mardi Gras when we're thinking about visitors coming in. We're talking about the way we celebrate our community every Sunday in the city. I'm thinking about Super Sunday in our community, right? We need to be able to feel just as protected living here as folk feel visiting here. So hopefully that report informs the way that we protect not only our visitors, but our native, the people who are native to this community. And I want to just briefly for 30 seconds talk about the craziness of the federal government for just 30 seconds. For just 30 seconds.
We could take 2 hours on that.
For just 30 seconds,
Go ahead.
The Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, said on Sunday during the appearance on NBC News that he's concerned about the whole United States airspace, citing old equipment being used by Federal Aviation Administration that at times needs to be purchased from eBay.
Did you say EB? eBay.
They are purchasing airplane parts from eBay.
Military airplane parts.
I cannot make this up. This is insane.
Is this
transportation? and then he tried to backtrack. Will it was very much verified. Like he said this literally on media, and then in the Senate hearings when they're questioning him about it. That's what I showed you a clip of. The Transportation Secretary then tried to clarify, we are the safest airspace for sure. And traveling by air is way safer than any other mode of transportation, not when planes are crashing and falling out of the sky and parts are flying off of planes. But now we might know because the new Transportation Secretary, because, they fired all of the people who have the expertise, they're ordering parts off of eBay.
You know what I want to know?
And what you want to know, Will? This is insane.
Who the heck has the parts? And why do they have the parts and we don't?
This is insane. I wouldn't on any level ever tell nobody that publicly. Like, that's insane. They're buying plane parts off of eBay. The federal government, eBay. Y'all stay tuned up next for the Front Porch. We're grilling the Kimball. It's the Good Morning Show. Dr. Ashanta White and our producer, Naira Sanders. We gonna see y'all tomorrow. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.